Coming up on Look Today, well, after extensive testing, Lake George $1 Million Beach is still closed. I've got details. Plus, the graduating class of Ballston Spa held their ceremony at SPAC last night. We were there. And 10 more immigrants are arrested in Saratoga Springs. We have more on that. It's all ahead on Look Today. Welcome everyone. Happy Friday. I'm Jay Hood Jackson. This is Look Today. Well, tonight's program, I sit down with Jessica Munson. She's program and outreach coordinator for the National Museum of Dance in Saratoga. And she's here to talk about exciting upcoming programming at the museum and the 5K race that's happening this weekend. I also sit down with Rachel Sieber. Now, she's here to discuss her run for supervisor for Queensbury. This is part 2 of my interview with her. Plus, we've got your weather for the Tri-North counties, but first, these headline stories. Well, in our lead story, Lake George $1 Million Beach is still closed. Levels of bacteria were found in a swimming area near the beach. Well, DEC and village officials are still testing for the source of this problem. Now, at this point, it is still unclear when the beach and the swimming area will reopen. The agencies involved met this morning, and the beach will remain closed as of this afternoon. Well, we spoke to Mike Consulo. He's executive director of the Lake George Regional Chamber of Commerce.
What's going on down at the lake, especially at $1 Million Beach, is that the state and DEC are getting together and they've sent up a couple of crews to do some extensive water testing. From what I understand is that this testing will be done and completed today and hopefully with some final results.
I know it's an inconvenience for people, but it also shows the dedication that the people in charge have about keeping it clean. We also spoke to Mike about alternative options for tourists.
We've got a beautiful lake and we have wonderful beaches at Shepherd Park, at Ushers Park, and all of the hotel. If you're fortunate enough to stay at one of the lake properties along the lake, they all have beach access. So swimming is taking place. It's just unfortunately at this time, and hopefully to be lifted soon, $1 Million Beach, you can't go into it.
You know, it's important to note that $1 Million Beach is only that one beach at the base of the lake, and this does not affect any of the other beaches in Lake George Village and heading north. All right, in other news, the Ballston Spa senior class graduated last night. The graduation ceremony took place at SPAC. Over 300 seniors crossed the stage at the Performing Arts Center to receive their diplomas. Now, over 65 graduating students in the Ballston Spa high school class of 2017 also qualified for New York State Seal of Biliteracy. Well, congratulations to all the graduating kids and their teachers at Ballston Spa. Switching from news to weather. Well, today saw an increase in temperatures. Chance of thunderstorms. There were showers on and off. Let's see how the weekend is shaping up. For a more detailed look at our weather, let's head to the Glens Falls Weather Center for a look at your first forecast.
Thanks, Jesse. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponster with the first look weather forecast. Here's the national map. What was left of Tropical Storm Cindy is going to make its way to the northeast, along with that cold front getting so tied up. That's also making its way through parts of New England. So also we have that low pressure out in California, nothing too in particular. Also high pressure out towards the Midwest. That's going to be filtering behind once this cold front gets out of the area. And as we look at a tighter view towards our regional forecast, that's going to mean some scattered showers and thunderstorms over the next several hours. This low temperatures just 67 in Albany, 66 Burlington, and 66 in Boston, Massachusetts. Look at the overnight lows more locally, mainly in the upper 60s. Fort Edward 67, Whitehall 66, Glens Falls 68 degrees. So you see that pattern, upper 60s, mid 60s could be in the forecast. Scattered storms, a quarter to a half-inch rain may be expected with winds out of the southwest about 10 miles per hour. A few more isolated showers with a 10 to a quarter inch of rain, high of 81 on our Saturday. After door forecast, some scattered showers, otherwise mostly cloudy, 72 to 74 through your 8 a.m. hour. And our extended forecast shows temperatures will fall from the 80s to the 70s for the remainder of the forecast period, with still a 30 to 40% chance of rain showers, perhaps a thunderstorm in the afternoon. Low temperatures in the mid-50s before the sunshine will be back in full force by next Wednesday. High temp 77 degrees. So that's a look at our first look weather forecast. I'm meteorologist Clarence Ponsler. Now I'll send it back to you, Jesse.
Thanks, Clarence. Looks like in that chart there you probably saw in the 5-day forecast, it's about 30% chance for showers tomorrow and Sunday. Keep your fingers crossed. All right, back to the news. Well, 10 more immigrants were arrested in Saratoga Springs last week. Now, among those arrested, ICE also detained an unaccompanied alien minor. Now, 3 of the men arrested face felony charges for re-entry after deportation. Confusing issue. We spoke to Mayor Joanne Yepsen of Saratoga Springs about how this affects our community.
Seems to be quite a few. I don't have exact numbers or what the loss is, but the restaurants are telling me that they're hiring people with papers, with approval to live here, so not quite sure what the problem is, but that is for someone else to investigate. We're mostly concerned about our city on a human rights level and also on an economic impact level.
Mm-hmm. Right. All right, up next, I sit down with Jessica Munson. She's program and outreach coordinator for the National Museum of Dance in Saratoga. And she's here to talk about exciting upcoming programming at the museum and a 5K race, Move and Groove, that's happening this weekend. Plus, I sit down with Rachel Sieber. Now, she's here to discuss her run for Supervisor Queensbury. This is part 2 of my interview with her. But first, if you see news happening, you want to share a story idea, how about join us for an interview? Then give us a call on the hotline. The number is 798-8000. Well, that's all the time we have for this edition of Look Today. It was quite a week around here. We covered all kinds of stuff in and around our communities. And so I want to thank the crew, as always, and that would be, ladies first, that would be Antoinette and Benson, Dana, Andrew, the convincer, Drew, Jack and Joel, and Norm for making the show possible each week. And a lot of things that we were talking about during the week are coming up this weekend, so I want to give you some reminders. Big one, Freihoffer Jazz Festival at SPAC, Saturday and Sunday. If you've been there, you know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't, you have to go. This is just the best opportunity to see SPAC operating. It's just amazing. All the artists and all of the people on the lawn and all of the vendors. It's just a great event. Also, Move and Groove. That 5K race is Sunday. That starts at the National Museum of Dance. And please don't forget that Adirondack Theater Festival is presenting the first in their series of plays for their season, Tesla Drops the Beat. I heard about it today from a number of people. It is amazing. You've got to go check out Adirondack Theater Festival at the Wood Theater in downtown Glens Falls. As long as we're talking about Glens Falls, Paradox Saints, that's Drew's band here. Drew here at Look Media. That's his band. And they just won Battle of the Bands in Lake George. That means they probably had 3 or 4 people there. And but you got to hear this band. And they're playing at Mean Mac's Brewery, right downtown Glens Falls. The Adirondack Wine Festival is going on in Lake George. You get the idea. And just in closing, I'm over at the mayor's office today, and while I'm standing there waiting to take care of a couple of things that we're covering on Look TV, she says to me, "Have you got a few minutes?" And I said, "Sure, what do you need?" She said, "Would you like to be a witness to a wedding?" And I'm thinking to myself, what? And she said, "Sure, it'll only take a couple of minutes." And she wasn't kidding. I swear to God, I stood next to these people. I didn't have a clue who they were. I didn't know why they were there. And the next thing I know, she's going, "Do you take so-and-so? Do you take so-and-so?" That's it. That's all it took. I had to sign a piece of paper. God knows what that means. And I was a witness to a wedding. All right, you have a good weekend, everybody. Monday night, tune in for the stories that matter to you. Good night, everyone.